Want to do a script?
Yo, 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 what's going on, peoples? Holy mackerel. We finally had some action to the downside today. Was not easy, I'll tell you. It was not easy because holy CPI came in, but the market basically opened down right on support. And so we just didn't have any follow through on the major indexes, at least. It was a tricky McGee. It really was. It was a tricky McGee. If you see here, this is the QQQs. You open down. You bottomed really at the first candle, then you kind of squeeze higher. Then it marinated and then rolled over. And then you got to stick save into the close. That was fucking hard to trade because you get the gap down so big, first candle. You get a little pop, maybe you're shorting into it, and then, right, it's it squeezes more than you think, and then it fizzles out later. But a lot of the other stocks did not follow through in really the same manner, I don't think. And so I thought it was a little bit of a tricky day. I think that just came down from where the location is on the QQQs. But it was nasty. There was a lot of selling going on. The IWM is down 4%. That can't be ignored. Was this an overreaction? Possibly. It could be an overreaction. Obviously a lot of stocks are extended. The market itself was extended going in to this, right? You had 4 huge days and, in the IWM and you were at resistance. So, could it be an overreaction? Possibly. We won't know till tomorrow and the next day. But you can't ignore a 4% down day on the IWM. That's just a nasty little day. But once again, a lot of that just came in on the damn gap, It came in on the gap, and you got Flushy McGee. I thought the IWM was more tradable today than the QQQs. And then you got a pop, and then a really nice fade into the close. So I thought that was tradable, but the Qs was much a little bit trickier, at least for me. We're going to see what's going on. We're kind of right back down to support here. We need to see if there's some follow-through. We don't really know. This is the way the market rolls right now. Because of all the algos and all this kind of shit lately, you get all these huge overreactions and when the selling turns on, but then you can rip it back the other way often because when you have a market that's just so extended and you have a lot of stocks that are really extended, this type of thing can happen where it's everybody's leaning one way, so then you get this swoosh for a day or two, right, and then you just rip back. You don't necessarily know. We need to see what happens tomorrow, and then we'll get a much clearer picture. But I would be defensive tomorrow. And just see which way. If the market opens under the 20 SMA and it does not rebound back through, then, maybe we've got some pullback that can happen. Look, the breakout to all-time highs was at 400, give or take. We ran to 440. That's 10%. Guys, 10% is a lot. Obviously we're so used to COVID times and all this stuff. We don't recognize that 10% is a lot, right? For 1 month of action. But it is. And so having a pullback is okay. It's frankly very healthy. Where can we pull? Maybe down to 415 would be, that would be, really nice. Maybe even get closer down into the 50-day moving average, right? But somewhere in here would really reset some charts, at least on the large caps. The IWM got smoked out and I think this is going to be, tomorrow's going to be very important for the IWM because we got all excited. I got excited. We had this nice little triangle pattern. And then, woof, right? You broke back under. Failed breakout so far. But, maybe we are just in range. Who knows? But I think there's a couple things that we need to be aware of. And this is what gives me a little bit of pause, at least for the IWM type stocks. Right? The fun stocks to trade have been like UPST, Affirm, right? Some CVNA. The UPST just took a huge shitter, just a nasty blumpkin, right? All over. Now it's just back. It's back where its move started, basically. Nasty earnings. Adjusted loss near revenue falls. Dude, this is America. We're in a time of inflation. How can your revenue even fall? Right? I'm not an economist, but that just seems right. Everything used to be that was $2 is $10 now. Why are your revenues going down? I don't know, right? I don't know. But Affirm, right? These are kind of our favorite IWM stocks. They've all busted down on earnings. This thing was down 10% today. Man, nasty. If this loses this area tomorrow, I think, we've got a lot of downside on it. I think this is something we want to be watching for tomorrow, by the way, just based on the UPST earnings. These things run together. Let's get a look into the watch list. I want you guys to really focus in. Like I said, today could have been an overreaction. I don't know yet. I don't, I wish, I know you pay me to know, but I don't know, right? Market breadth is just kind of mid, T2107 is kind of mid, 1,004% breakdowns today, only 163 breakouts. We were actually getting a nice little breadth thrust for a few days where we are having some solid amounts of breakouts and very few breakdowns. And then, boom, right, today kind of changed things because of the CPI. Now, the CPI came in hot, but it was not that hot. Like, they're expecting 0.2 and it came 0.3. I don't know. It doesn't seem like much in today's day. It could be an overreaction. We don't know. We're not economists. We got to just trade what we see. Let's get into the watch list, but I think this is the game plan, right? If we open, we got a little bit of a stick save. If we open up into any levels of resistance, the plan is to watch for a little bit of fade in case it turns into like a little head and shoulders for the day, maybe 2 days, right? That's going to be the key. Dude, if we open back down, like we get down over here, we have like a nasty little open, we're probably going to chop around or something like that. Let me tell you a little bit about something on these days. So after these trend days, often what happens the next day is chop for the first hour or two. I repeat, after big down days or big up days, the first hour or two are very choppy. And so you're going to have to really, really watch yourselves tomorrow at the open. I've seen this now happen 50 times in the last 6 months. Big day, first hour, chop. Big day, first hour, chop. Be very careful tomorrow. You may get sucked in on the short side, then it rips back, and you sucked in the long side, then it rips down. You know what I'm talking about. We call that the spin cycle of despair. Let's just make sure that we don't have any of that. Now let's get into this watch list, man. Let's do the Lord's work over here. So there's a couple names that I think on the long side we want to look at. There were some interesting earnings breakouts. I want to first go over these. Right, JetBlue broke out over this big base 200-day moving average. Actually a trender today. And I feel a little bit guilty about this. In my chat room, I told my guys, this thing is hot, but it's an airline. And I was really bitter because I didn't get an upgrade last time I flew. And so I took it off the list out of spite. I'm human, I'm human, barely, but I'm human. And, ended up trending all day. So I eat my words. I forgive these guys. So let's add this back in. It's a nice 64 million shares in volume. Can't ignore it. Breakout over 200-day moving average. Can't ignore that. Old Aspen is stream. Man, this had really good action on this today, guys. Right, $14 stock. Broke over the 50-day moving average. Got a bust loose. Pull back into the bone zone. And then a nice trender. Dude, that's a Butamus Maximus Meridius right there. Like, that's what you want to see, right? That's 250 of a move right there on a down day in the market. Guys, biotechs and earnings plays and, all of these kind of things, they tend to be a little bit more impervious to the fluctuations of your overall index. I don't even know what these guys do. Aerogels, right? That could be anything, but that's a nice little pusher right there. Old Trip. Trip's got a big base here at 27. It held up really well. Look, it didn't move at all intraday, but you got a level here. This is prime time, I think. If the market ends up bouncing tomorrow, and today was just like a big old, like, kind of, hey, let's sell and get some money to pay our 2023 taxes, that can happen, then, I think Trip's going to be nice. Old Zoom Info, not Zoom, but Zoom Info. So there's multiple Zooms. One is Zoom, and then this one is also Zoom, but it's Zoom Info. How they're different, I don't know, but here we are. Here we are, face to face, like a couple of silver spoons. Man, you guys remember that? 1992? Man, that was a nice year. That was a nice year. The skating station, there was so much going on back then, but you got a breakout setting up over here. Week open, red to green. 35 million shares in volume. Guys, this stock never does any damn volume, right? Like, this thing's been dead. How many stocks are left that used to be $80 and that are still near their bottoms? Not many. Add it to the list. HWM, this is an aerospace company. Dude, this is a bust loose on earnings, adjusted earnings, sales rise, guidance issued, all the good stuff. Breakout to all-time highs. 6.4 million shares in volume. Nice, dude. Nice chart, right? Breakout, pull back to the bone zone, pull back to the bone zone, pull back to the bone zone. Rest hot for tomorrow. I'd leave this one alone, actually. I was up a whole shitload of money this morning, and I gave back quite a bit messing around with this thing. Breathe. Take that one off. It's on my ban list. Uber, it's starting to ramp because of the Lyft earnings, I believe. Now, Lyft had earnings out, but then it cratered because it was like an earnings fugazi. Like, they kind of misannounced it. So, I don't know, but we want to put both of these on the watch list tomorrow. They're going to be in play. I don't know what's going on. I've very rarely seen $11 stock go to 20 and then back down to 14. That's like not a biotech, right? So this is going to have some action. I want to be a part of it. I don't know what's going on, but I like it. And if that one starts to go, then old Uber's at the 20-day moving average. Hottest trender of the year out of the big mega caps, right? $140 billion company. That's nice. Disney. Look, if this dips off at the open, this thing is hot to trot. We got a trend line break right there. It ain't sexy. It ain't sexy, but it is cuddly, right? It ain't sexy, but it is cuddly. And sometimes that's all that really matters, you know. Sexy is nice, but sometimes a big bear, just a little cuddly, right? Give us dad bod, hairy guys a chance. This Disney, it's cuddly, baby. I like it. NVIDIA, fuck this stock. GEH, now this, I've been waiting for this one for a while. I got 83 alert. If it breaks, I buy stop this thing. We'll see what happens. This NVIDIA was tough to trade. You know, I glossed over this for a second, but I'm being a baby. I really wanted this thing to tank today. I did. You know, I don't know why, but I needed it to. And it did not. I tried a couple times. I had some stop outs. Yeah, I nailed it at the 9 EMA, covered some, but then I tried to reshort, and things happen. Things gotta happen. I don't want to talk about it right now, but things happen. I want revenge. NXT 59 breakout, still there. Look at that thing. Test, right at 59. We're good. Hey, AMSC had this news out. Big push. Inside day today. Out of these smaller names, I think this is the best name. Out of the smaller names, I think this is the best name. Bros, that is hot. Palantir down 4% today. The 9 EMAs at 22. If the market does flush, man, I'd love to catch a bounce off this thing. Maybe at the 9 EMA, maybe at 20, but that was a hot earnings push up 400 million shares of volume. Let this thing pull back, but, you know, like a gap down on this or something like that, I think that really sets it up. Mara, you know, this ended up being an inside day. You know, you had the big push. Inside day. You just can't ignore that with the, you know, the IWM doing what it did and everything else doing what it did. It had just a nice tight range. Bros, it's hot, right? It's hot to trot. Add that bad boy. Net. Big breakout on earnings. Fill in the gap here. A gap down on this, I think we buy it. You got 1, 2, 3 red days is usually the telltale sign after a gap fill, and you got the 9 EMA right there. We take it down. The solar stocks got murked because of the interest rates. With inflation rising, interest rates probably are not going to get cut. Next thing you know, these things are so sensitive to that, so I think you got to take the solars off. I was really looking forward. They looked hot, man. They looked hot. Thank God I'm a day trader. You know, they looked hot. They no getting around it, but they got dusted, so we got to be careful. I think this is where we want to be tomorrow, though, right? We'll play UPST. Affirm. Watch this Affirm today. If UPST gets dusted, Let's watch this affirm here. ARM is going to be a daily trader for a while. You know, it's down 18%, up 50% day before, down 18%. It gave up all the gains, right? All the gains, right? It had this huge squeeze and it gave up all the gains. That's awesome. Let's see if we get one big pull on this. We may get a bounce on this. We're gonna need to be nimble tomorrow. I have no clue. Bounce, fade. We need to see how the open works, and then, you know, we will make a decision. But, dude, be careful tomorrow. Take it easy. Remember, the first hour is always a little bit choppy. Peace.